Next up, we have Nick Sheppard. Nick is an open researcher advisor at the University of Leeds Libraries. Over to you, Nick.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm just trying to figure out how to share my screen. These buttons have changed. What do I do?
Oh, it should be the green one at the bottom.
Oh, there you can see them.
There we
Sorry.
go.
It's just panicking. So yeah, thanks for the invitation and for the introduction. So as Sarah said, I am sorry, I'm just catching up with myself. Open research advisor at the University of Leeds. So talking a little bit about the work that we've been doing at Leeds and promoting Wikimedia in higher education. So as open research advisor, my job is to support researchers across the university with all aspects of open research. So this is advising on open access to research, open practices in general, data management planning so that data can be shared openly and fairly. That's, if you don't know the acronym, that's findable, accessible, interoperable and reusable, and all sorts of open platforms, of which obviously Wikimedia is one. So in terms of my sort of journey, my very first edit was in 2017 at 11:30 on the 10th of July, to be precise. And that was on the article around energy storage. So at that time, I was just learning the ropes, obviously not even got very far with learning how the community worked, etc. So I was just, in my role as open, in terms of open access, I was linking the open access version of this paper, which is in our local repository. So the White Rose Research Online repository is a repository of open access articles from the three universities of York, Sheffield and Leeds. My logic being that, lay people may want to access that research, but if they wanted to do so, it cost them $40 or the best part of $40. So I simply added the link to the open access version in the White Rose repository. There's the cost, as you can see there. So there's lots of research linked across the White Rose universities, across Leeds as well. You can see this one in particular now has 109 citations. This is an article out of our School of Earth and Environment across Wikipedia. And that's also behind a paywall. At the time, I think it was only about 8. So anyway, I did the same. I linked that to the open access version and was immediately flagged as spam. So at that time, obviously, I was still, it wasn't the greatest experience to introduce me to Wikipedia. I didn't really know how the community worked, etc. So huge thanks to Martin Poulter, who I know is on the call, and we'll get a few shouts out today. Bit of discussion on the spam forums, etc. And all fine. It was quite okay what I was doing. I did a lot more work around this as well. So there's a paper that we wrote looking at this about, at that time in 2019, there were about 6,500 articles cited across Wikipedia. We did a bit of work on exploring how many of those were open access. About half of them were, about half were behind paywall. So it was an area I was interested in, just increasing the open access provision of articles linked to Wikipedia. I then won a Data Management Engagement Award that was sponsored by Cambridge University, Sparta Europe and JISC. And that was looking at linking research data with Wikimedia through editathons, etc. I still use the example now of peat map. So that's, as I say, I look after open data, etc. in the university. So peat map is a data set that we've got that generates that distribution map of peatland distribution around the globe. Now on Wiki Commons, as you can see, obviously linked across multiple pages on English Wikipedia, but also in many other languages. By far our most popular data set, largely because of traffic driven by Wikipedia. And again, working with Martin at the time. I used the award for, they gave me about £2,000, I think. I used that to visit Edinburgh for my very first editathon, Women in Red editathon with Ewan McAndrew in 2019. So thanks also to Ewan McAndrew. At that time as well, we jumped on a call with Martin and we were talking about the potential and what I was interested in, learning and trying to do more things within the university sector. So Martin and I did a bit of a survey to gauge attitudes to Wikimedia in universities across the sector, which resulted in that paper, which you can have a look at the data as well if you're interested in that survey data. The basics were that not many universities were really looking at Wikimedia. I think more so now perhaps than at that time, but certainly not formally. And I really like that quote at the bottom, which due to time I won't read out now, but that's from Melissa Heighton at the University of Edinburgh. And I think that still holds true. We really do need to encourage more Wikimedia in universities. Can't not mention Wilson Armistead. If you don't know who he is, Google him. You'll find obviously the Wikipedia article, which I started in 2019. I think I came across it in the course of my work from an article by Professor Bridget Bennett in the School of English at the University of Leeds. worked with Martin to do a Did You Know entry. So he was an anti-slavery abolitionist in Leeds, fascinated by his story. Obviously didn't have a presence on Wikipedia. He does now. He lived and died in Virginia Cottage, which is now Lyddon Hall on the University of Leeds campus, and he's actually buried in St George's Field, which is the old cemetery, which is also now part of the University of Leeds campus. Lots of civic engagement opportunity there. We did an editathon back in Black History Month this year, looking at anti-slavery abolitionists, with a plaque unveiled to celebrate him and other anti-slavery abolitionists in Leeds. So there's lots of interest in that around the university as well. In terms of what happened next, I managed to get a little bit of funding. Obviously, I bored my colleagues to death with the potential, as I see it, around Wikimedia in universities. We've run a few editathons with Albert Richard and Wikimedia UK, etc. Ran a Wikimedia Champions project. Again, Martin was a consultant on that. There's sort of various outputs from that you can find online. I'll share those links in a moment, including podcasts with Martin and with some of our champions. I was then awarded, thanks to Martin again, who I think nominated for UK Wikimedian of the Year last year. Still feel a bit of a fraud, especially listening to colleagues like Lucy. And, you know, I'm still relatively modest actual activity on Wiki itself, but that was sort of in recognition of the work I've been doing about promoting it in universities. And I'm conscious I've gone a little over time. I've got my stopwatch going, but we have now got some funding for Wikimedian in Residence, or as we're calling it, a Wikimedia and Open Knowledge Advisor. Someone you may know, I know Lucy's not here, so Lucy Hinney, I've spoken to her, she's happy for me to reveal that. If it's not already known, it will be to some, but so Lucy Hinney will be joining us as Wikimedia and Open Knowledge Advisor from the new year on a 2-year part-term fixed-term contract, so really excited about that. So yeah, sorry to everyone, I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nick. I can see that there's quite a lot of interest in the chat for some of those links and some of that work that you've been doing. And yeah, we look forward to the new residency. Fantastic. Okay, next.